see if we can get this. So when you're ready, thinking that energy down the, do a couple more transitions down to halt. So remember, the less bracing in the legs, the better. And that was a good idea, just to get him moving first. So energy down the leg, soft knee, and when you're ready, ask for a halt. Float forward, float forward. Okay, so a little bit he dropped out behind, dropped his back and lifted his head. Did you get a sense of some of those things? Yeah, so take your time. If you go slow now, things will go faster later and better. Yeah.
I don't want him lifting his heels out of the ocean.
Yes, yeah. And the thing is, yes, you can pull his head down with your hands, but that's not gonna, that'll be, in my, from where I come from, that's going to make it look good, but his back's still going to be dropped, which isn't going to be good for him or his abilities. Good, good, very good. So even though initially the head came up, he kept walking his hind legs up under him. And know that if his head comes up, you may have done something to create that. Like tipped back, like a little bit you're tipping back there. So find your nice soft feeling in your legs. Think about that energy down your legs, but keep your shoulders sort of floating with them. Yes, that's better. Okay, so now this time on purpose, just so that you're quite clear, I hope this will clear it for you. I want you to go a little wrong. I want you to lean back and brace a bit in your legs to stop him, and I want you to notice what happens to his head and neck. So, no. So he said in no uncertain terms, I cannot move my hind legs up under me, and I'm going to have to throw my head in the air and drop my back to stop. Okay? Yeah. So then go back to doing it the way you were doing. And I know, it's possible in your other lessons. It's not being broken down in quite this much detail.
The overall picture's the same.
Yeah, but this is all going to help. If you can sort of incorporate these ideas, you'll get better results from what Jim's helping you with, for sure. So taking your time, energy. Yeah, sure, your foot might slip forward a bit, but it doesn't have to push hard. Yeah. And float your shoulders. That's it. That's it. Every time you actually thought of a little forward through your shoulders, his head came down again. And then, there'd be a tiny tip back and up it would go, and you'd come forward and down the head would come, under the hind legs would come. So we'll get, just for the camera, we'll get a few more and then we'll do something different. So when you're ready, go through the routine again. And remember those shoulders. You don't have to think back in your body to get them to stop. Float. Yeah, good. You floated, his hind leg stepped under and he stopped. Okay, in other words, you came forward a little bit with your shoulders, but there'll always, you may be being told, get your shoulders back, or it may just be, I think it's just that we all think we need our shoulders back. Right, great, good. Okay, so, what would why don't we actually have you do some transitions between walk into trot with the carousel turn, starting the whole deal so that you're accessing some push out of the inside hind leg from your carousel turn. So, maybe 2 or 3 times round in a carousel turn, and then as you're coming out of the last one, perhaps let's explore taking it up into trot and going large, using a chunk of the arena or going onto a big circle. Sure, so go ahead and do your carousel turn. Think of slowing the front feet. Good. Talk to the inside hind leg a little bit more. Say, come on, you keep working, hind leg. That's it. Okay, and then make your circle a bit bigger and trot. Nice. Okay. And let's do another one of those. So you're going to bring them back with just a little energy down the leg. Good. And I'll just have you do a few of those. Make sure the inside hind leg is reaching and pushing first. That's it. Talk to that inside hind leg. Tell it can step deep. Good. And then ease him into a trot. Stepping that inside hind leg deep through the transition. Yes. And then walking again. Good. Careful not to get too bracey in your legs to walk. Keep that softness. Whoop. So was he just a little harder to get to come back to walk that time? Yeah. Careful not to get bracey with that outside leg. Good. So what I'm seeing is the first step of trot, he's lifting into it quite nicely, and then after a step or two, then he gets a bit into his old pattern of flinging his head a little bit. But we'll just do a few more of those transitions where you don't spend too much time trotting, where you just work on transitioning in a better, more weight-bearing form, and hopefully it'll start to be extended into more steps of trot. That's that carrying weight posture. Yeah, so walk, do your getting the inside hind leg with your carousel turn, or it even could just be with a small circle. It doesn't have to be quite such a tight one. Talk to that inside leg, ease him while you're talking to the inside hind leg to step and have energy. Ease him up into trot. Notice the quality as he goes, and if he does it easily and feels like he just steps lightly into it with no head fling, you know you got something correct happening, don't you? So soften the outside leg. Good. And then, yeah, 2 steps later, he's into that little bit of a flinging head thing. But actually, there into the down transition, he got soft again. And then maybe go the other direction. Just be aware of your outside leg there. It was just your left leg when it was on the outside was getting a little braced. And so talk to the inside hind leg. When you feel it start to step with a little more energy, ease him into that trot. Little harder for him to step deep this way right now. That's it. That's good. Yes. Yeah, for him, it looks as though this left hind leg, he wants to sort of stab and not reach with it quite as well. So, that's okay though. And then energy down the legs, float. Good. Check in with your hip joints. Think about that feeling when I moved your knees, that little bit in and out, and how the head of the thigh bone, the ball of the head of the thigh bone, was doing a little rolling motion. That's it. Good boy. What a good boy. Yeah, go ahead. And that was a nice step of backup he gave you. So, you know, anytime you come to a halt, not always, but once in a while, ask for that step back or two. So, really encouraging that inside hind. Yep. Good. And easing them up into a trot from there. Good boy. So that time he actually gave you maybe an extra step or two. Yeah, good. And then you got him back again. Good, good, good. And now I want you to just rotate. Oh, I was going to say, next time you do this in this direction, I may ask you to rotate out a little bit quickly. Rotate out with your torso, then rotate back in, and then I might have you rotate back out while you keep them on the circle. Good. Now rotate out for a second. With your torso, rotate outward. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
A little more of an outward rotation. Yeah, and then in, and just kind of swivel back and forth a bit. Good. Whoops, okay. So that was just an experiment. Do you feel how a little bit you're falling to the outside again, or a little getting braced in this outside leg?